Okay, hope everybody is doing well today. If you've not turned in your focus activities, please get those stapled, get them turned in. These are our final grades, which are going to help determine your semester grade, and we'll be talking about that tomorrow. There are only 4, and there are copies up here if you did misplace or lose one. We are going to wrap up the notes today. I'm going to give you the majority of the period to work on an exit ticket. Okay, so I'll let you work together on that, and I'll give you some more instructions once we get started. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you your assignment. It's going to be due on Monday. We'll talk about your semester grades, where you are right now, and how important that semester final is going to be to you. After the homework on Monday, we'll start the district assessment. We are going to put our answers in using the Chromebook, just like we always do. So make sure that you are able to log on. If you're not able to log on for whatever reason on Monday, you'll just have to come back at some other time and input your answers then. So we do need everybody to go ahead and do that. And then we'll review, and then we have our final next week. Remember, I'm not here on Friday, so there won't be any tutorials that morning. Okay, so if you are wanting to retake the test from last week, you can do so. You still have tomorrow morning, or you can come in Monday morning. That's the deadline on that. Are there any questions? No? Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started so you have as much time as possible. Now, I did say yesterday that I was going to use the random number generator to have somebody come on up and help me with this problem. So we needed a common denominator, and we needed to simplify this. So lucky number 7. Okay, and that is Savion, I believe. All right. So Savion is going to come on up and help me. Now remember, we're going to help him out. Okay, he's not up here by himself. Okay. So while he does that, I'm going to go ahead and start passing back some papers. So if you already passed in your focus activities, and if you took your test late, you'll be getting those back. All right. Thank you, Savion. Okay, so here's 8. I think that's just broom. Oh, Stephanie, did you want to do it?
Oh, it's just counting.
Oh. Yeah, and some of them have rubbed off. I need to put those back on there. No, the common denominator is just a product of the two. So it'd be sine x times the binomial 1 plus cosine. Okay, so he's having trouble, guys. Let's help him out. Okay, what should he do? There you go, Jack. Bless you.
That's all I got.
So that would be the right, well, which fraction are you working on? The first one or the second one?
I have no idea which fraction I'm working on. I just took this.
Okay. So let's say we're working on the first fraction, so we have the common denominator, but what are we missing if we only have sine in the first one? We'd have to multiply by what?
Cosine. 1 plus cosine.
1 plus cosine, but we've already got a 1 plus cosine up top, so we'd have to multiply 1 plus cosine times 1 plus cosine. We have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same expression. So we'd want to take off that sign right there. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and put parentheses around that so we know that it's a binomial. Now, let's go ahead and write the second fraction. So go ahead and put the plus. Now, what am I missing from the 1 plus cosine?
Sin x.
Okay, so I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by
Sin x.
sine x. There you go. Okay. So what's sine times sine?
Sin x squared. Well, sin. Yeah, sin x squared, right?
Sine squared of x. It's the trig function that'll get square. There we go. So sine squared of x. And then okay, good. Now we're off to a good start. Now, before we go ahead and actually combine these, let's simplify that numerator right there. Can anybody help him out? What would 1 plus cosine times 1 plus cosine be?
1 plus
Okay. Okay, so Connor, would you repeat that again so he can write that down? Now, let's just go ahead and put plus, and let's add that sine squared on there. So let's actually go ahead and combine the two fractions. And let's put that all over our common denominator. So sine okay, 1 plus. Okay, good, 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 good. Now, where would he go from here? Do we recognize any identity that could be useful to us? Okay, anybody? Okay, so Aiden says that cosine squared plus sine squared is 1. So right up top, so we can replace those two. So that would give me 1 plus 2 cosine plus 1. So what would the 1 plus 1 give me? 2. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and combine those. So 2 plus 2 cosine of x over sine of x times 1 plus cosine of x. Okay, and we're getting closer. What should he do now? Factor out of 2. Okay. Okay, well, we wrote the same thing again. We need to factor out that 2. Who gave him that suggestion? Okay, so Rhett. No, because you got the same expression. So look at your numerator. Pretend there's that GCF.
Oh.
Okay. No, there's no 2 down there.
Then where would the 2?
It's only in the numerator, because it's only the numerator that we're factoring.
Yeah, so I got rid of the 2.
Well, it's not that you're getting rid of the 2, you're just rewriting the expression. So imagine we pull the 2 out in front like we're reverse distributing it.
So would it be 4 plus cosine of x?
Not 4, because you're not pulling out a 4. You're pulling out a...
So just 2 plus cosine of x?
No. Because, see, you got a binomial, so the reason we're able to factor it out is because each of these terms shares a 2.
So just cosine of x?
Getting closer. If I pull out a 2, then what does this 2 become?
1.
1. There you go.
1 plus cosine of x.
Okay. And then what would be on the outside? Because what did we pull out?
The 2.
We pulled out a 2. So let's put parentheses around that guy, around that binomial, and then we'll have the 2 on the outside. There we go. Now, do we notice anything?
Yes.
Okay, we have a common group factor. So 2 over sine of x. And what would be my final answer then?
Well, we can't have a fraction, right? So
Yeah, we want to rewrite it with no fractions.
would it be negative?
We're getting close. Now, it's not going to be negative, but what's the reciprocal of sine?
Oh, cosecant. No, secant.
There we go. 2 cosecant of x. That should be my answer. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Nice. Okay, questions. Good job, good job. Okay. Well, now, let's go ahead and work one more together, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys loose on your exit ticket. So what would you like to work, the top one or the bottom one? Top one, okay. So let's say I have 1 plus tangent squared over cosecant squared, and I want to simplify this so that there is no fraction. Well, do we notice anything right away? Yeah, Dylan says 1 plus tangent squared. Remember, that's one of my Pythagorean identities. I can replace 1 plus tangent squared with secant squared. Now we have cosecant squared. Okay, so now we only have the 2 trig functions, okay, without a binomial. So where would I have to go from here? Okay, so Aiden says let's turn them into sine and cosine. So what's the reciprocal for secant squared? So that's 1 over cosine squared. And that's over cosecant squared, which is 1 over sine squared. And we've seen this many, many times. We're dividing by a fraction. That's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to flip that up. So I should have sine squared of x over cosine squared of x. Now we know that sine over cosine is tangent, but what's sine squared over cosine squared? That's tangent squared. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, again, it's just using your algebra skills and making sure that you're familiar with those identities. Okay, good, good, good. Now, if anybody does have any questions or anything about the second one, I mean, it is in the notes. You can come talk to me. If I were going to simplify this one, I would go ahead and use his conjugate. What would be the conjugate of 1 plus cosine? 1 minus cosine. Okay, very good. All right, well, let me go ahead and pass out your paper. This is going to be due before you take off. Okay. Now, you guys can work together on this. In fact, I encourage you to, if you're still having a little bit of difficulty or, you know, hey, I'm not sure how to get started, or this is the answer I'm getting, you know, work together, okay? Help each other out. The only stipulation is that you can't ask me any questions because I've completely forgotten what I'm doing. I just work it. That's all I got. I'm just one part of a bigger puzzle. Just a single grain of sand at the beach. There you one star and an infinite cosmos. Went pretty far on that, so I'll go ahead and stop.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right, so you got this here. It's only 2 problems. Now, only one class has taken me up on this so far. First period, someone did take the lead, came on up to the board, went ahead and kind of worked together as an entire class. Second period, broke off into their smaller groups. Nobody came up to the board. I have not graded their papers yet, so I don't know how those have turned out. But you did see, first period was one of those classes that scored very high on the previous exam when they were allowed to work together. So would anybody be willing to come on up, or do you want me to shut down the board? Keep it on? Okay, so I'll go ahead and turn you guys loose. We got until 52, so you have just under 30 minutes. There's plenty of time. All right, go to it.